how well they can ensure that these resources really get to the district and the city, and they're put into the right use. So as a leader, you make sure that there's something you build conversation that benefits the wider community and the country at large on the TV, and we are basing it on the Mbale. At least we have people, the leadership, and from the grassroots that are really on that platform. It is a community church, community show where we hear voices from the grassroots at every district or region to the leadership. So in part of these as an extended kind of discussions that will not, most times we might not be in Mbale, but we have them online because we do them on Zoom, and so we'll have as much and many more conversations building up to ensuring that people really get these basics as much as possible. Who else? Yes?
Leaders, at times we face challenges because I think some laws should be amended. At times when you demand for accountability, we want to know something, they just tell you that for you it is only eyes on and hands off. And really, demanding for information becomes a challenge. At times we end up quarreling with the technical staff because we are not allowed to access these accounts. And at times they keep on dilly-dallying with information, and yet we have to account to give information to electorates. As leaders, at times we also make unrealistic pledges, and we end up running away from the communities. You promise heaven and earth, and when these funds fail to come, you disappear from the electorates. And in most cases, for us local leaders, especially councillors at the lower local levels, we target because we easily associate with these people at the local level. But our MPs just come and get votes and they disappear, and they leave the burden for us at lower local governments.
That's an interesting one, and of course it is important that we constantly have these capacity building conversations that really help the people understand where to run to and what they demand from the different offices or leadership places. So the one, and of course, going to the importance of leadership, leadership is a center of change and transformation of a society, and this is important for three reasons. Leaders organize, manage and govern society to unlock its potent energies and capabilities. And this is why I was telling you that if you've grown here, this is your home, this is really everything that is in Mbale is you, because there's that humane, and of course the patriotism is evoked in these discussions, and you know that you're supposed to be doing better. If you're the one supposed to do that responsibility, why then do you allow such people to be there? So we need to ensure that at these levels and these conversations at the district level, you're not deployed from Busoga to Mbale to do things for Mbale. No, you're home, you're doing stuff from home, you're doing work for home. So you need to do it the best way possible. Leaders are standard setters. Effective leaders are role models of a society who at all times provide inspiration and guidance on standards of behavior and of course the quality of life. These are some of the definitions we've had. These are some of the issues you already know. You need to provide quality living conditions. You're setting the trends, you're setting the pace. And of course, right there, we go to the roles and responsibilities of leaders generally, not given leadership positions, but generally. Leadership is made up of several different roles, functions, and responsibilities. For one to be a good leader, he or she should do the following: involve others in decision making. At least we've had this coming out clearly in this conversation. Enable others to act and perform. People-centered. You need to have people doing this work. Keep followers informed of trends and involvement. Importantly, communication is key to this responsibility. You need to keep people, we need to keep people informed always. That's why you see, by the time, like he has just said, that you give people promises and you disappear at the end of the day and you wait for election. If you don't keep people informed at all times, this is what I'm doing, this is what is failing. You know, if you could have given 100 promises, you know, like overly exaggerated, but for as long as you're always communicating, you're always with the people and telling them, this is the match I've gone, this is what I'm doing, at this level I've reached this far, this is the little that has come out. You will not have problems of running away at the end of the day when the issues of accountability rise up. So you need to communicate and be always with them. Rewards people and makes them perform better. Actually, most times people say that as a leader, your role is supposed to be supervision, you know? Supervisory. You are at that level. You allow the rest of people to do the work for you and you take the credit. Once you achieve that level, then you are at top of your game. Act as a role model. A leader must act in an exemplary and honorable manner to command the respect and trust from others. It's just self-explanatory. He or she should lead by example and be a role model to others. It is as simple as that. And going characteristics of qualities of a good leader, this conversation is just to remind us of our who we are at this level. It's not anything different from what you know. There are characteristics that set leaders apart from other people. Some characteristics or traits are inherent. You talked about it. Yeah, they're natural. They're supposed to be intelligent. So as a leader, really, you're expected that you need to stand out a little, and of course of good reputation. We'll talk about. Another hand, I think when we raise hands and call for reactions.
Since you said it is participatory.
Yes.
And I think is that now what you have brought up there is that it's very much in contravention of what we have. What is happening on the ground? Because we have to share the reality.
Yeah.
And I believe that it's not only happening in the city here or in Mbale, but I think it is spread all over the country. That when we are trying to formulate leadership, because in governance, where we are periodically, regularly going to elections, electing leaders. Now we have a problem. We are witnessing that there are people who are elected, elevated from grassroots, like KLC 1, 2, then 3, then you get that kind of sequence. But you find that the same person was not, there's no by-election held to fill that gap. So he's a leader at 3, 2, and even at times a 1. So now that one first contravenes all the visionary, law-abiding, accountability, intelligence. Now how shall we solve this problem?
According to Article 9 of the Constitution of Uganda, 1995, all persons who at the commencement of the Constitution were citizens of Uganda qualify as citizens. A citizen is a participatory member of a political community. Citizenship is gained by meeting the legal requirements of a national state, the national, state, or local government. For you, but know where to frustrate you. Physical and bodily harm directly, we've seen that. Yeah, the Kakwenzas, the Who's, there are quite a lot of examples that we can give out in this. Of course, we have raids and siege by state agencies for office premises. We know that this happen and we've seen them happening. Also, our civil society members and colleagues have had the organizations up to date being closed, but also we have those that were sieged at some point. So in the execution of these works, we know that some of these threats are there, but how well we work with them is something that we need to constantly get to ourselves to understand. How to minimize chances of poisoning, we know. Minimize the extent to which you eat from outside. No? Someone said my expectation is, you know, you get some good food. But also, now we need to know that at what level are you exposed? Especially if you're a political leader, you're a leader that's really fights for the causes of the people. You need to be very careful. Yeah? Out of home should be in a place, of course, you have confidence in. And of course, in spaces where Sarah always trains, she always tells people the safest place, especially if you're a person of that, where you know that your life is threatened. When you're eating food, you go for a buffet or like reserved at lunch, where you know everyone is eating on that, you know, than calling for a la carte, where you say, okay, serve me this, and they bring it for you know. So avoid eating from same places all the time. Where possible, avoid special orders of food. Never leave your meal unattended to, whether in a restaurant or in a bar or a hotel. And for those who love some alcoholic drinks, in addition to principles above, avoid getting intoxicated or tipsy in the company of individuals you don't trust. And these are cut across to all the leadership, because competition is so much. And also, how to minimize chances of kidnap. Always be security cautious and consider yourself a potential victim of kidnap. Yeah, and you have to know. When working on any sensitive issue, avoid moving in isolation. And these are generally to the activists, because really, we know, avoid routine schedules. Routine schedules, you know that tomorrow in the morning you have to be at your office, by 10, 11 you have to be here. And you know, like it is a routine, you have to drop kids at this time, you have to, like one, our political leader once said, you need to operate in a Robert Douglas style. Yeah? You're not really, you can't be trusted or know how you operate. Also avoid arbitrary arrests. Sometimes injury or even tear gas. You should always know what to expect when engaging in activism. You need to know, because most times your life is important. Yeah, while engaging, you need to know how to defend yourself from some of these and how you come out, because at the end of the day you need to see that whatever you fought for is achieved. But in response to these mechanisms, we have the legal aid laws. And of course, as the Center for Constitutional Governance, we have a desk for legal aid. And of course, we have the Civic Space app, which we are going to share at some point, so that we have an app for those who have smartphones. We have an app where we shall ensure that it's called an instant app. Wherever you're in any problem, you just send a message. It also works for both online, whether you're on the internet or off the internet. It gives you the location, we know where you are, you know, and we can easily trace you in case of any problem, in case of any issue, or you can report to us that there's this issue happening here, or we need some help and what. So there's that app that has been created that we need to ensure that we utilize as much as possible, because it will help us and defend us from all kinds of trouble. And from there, I need to thank you for being good listeners, highly participatory, and of course sparing your time to be with us. Thank you, and thank you for the day. If there's any questions or any other reactions, I can open up the floor again.
Because I remember when, during registration of national identity cards, some people were registered as citizens by registration, citizens by birth in Uganda. Then there are those who are citizens in Uganda but were born in other countries. And to me, I thought that being born in Uganda, that one gives me permanent citizenship. But during registration, when you check on national IDs, most of us, they have an expiry date of 2025. So I wonder, in 2025, shall we cease to be citizens at that time? Maybe if you have some clue on that.
Maybe Sarah will respond to that one, and possibly I'll allow her to respond to that one. Who else? Any other comment?